super excited. Today in the hiring room, I have Brad Hughes. Thanks for coming on.
I'm excited to be here, Renee. I've wanted to talk to you for a long time, so this will be fun.
Didn't you hire Alex Sheridan to help with your video strategy?
I did. He was my
Yeah.
guy before I ever filmed 1 second of content.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're kicking it. You're sort of a natural at it. What was your end game with this? Why did you decide to do this?
I just fully understand, like, brand is so important. I mean, I just think
Yeah.
personal brand is everybody's leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that leverage is whatever you want it to be, no matter how, no matter how big or small, everybody has a personal brand. Whether you
Yeah.
think you do or not, you
Yeah.
you you have some level of personal brand. Whether you're a dental assistant who's never posted on social media ever in your life, you still have a brand. And I just want to have, I want people to know me, and for me, it's and I want them to know me because I want to build that community.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to do is just find like-minded people to have social interactions with. I mean, that's the point of social media. So I love the DMs that I get.
Yeah.
Love like stuff like this. It's finding those people that, are the most enjoyable to talk to because they're the most like-minded. And I think that gives me a ton of energy.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I started the podcast, I'm in an entrepreneurial group that I started. I'm not going to mention names, and I'm sort of iffy on the results. And I think it's just me being a little bit snarly, to be honest with you. But the guy that runs it, he'll probably listen to this. He's really successful, which you have to listen to, right? And he is very adamant about like just pick one thing and master it and go to the next thing and the next thing, right? Well, I've been in business for 25 years. And so I'm doing a little bit more than other people because first of all, I'm not 40. So I don't have time to wait. Like I gotta get going, right? Like I don't have time to sit around and see if this works in a year or something. And things change. I mean, 25 years ago, you used to cold call, get a meeting and jump in a cab and get it. Like that's how we built the business. And in a lot of ways, it was easier because if you're versed at being able to talk and connecting with people like I am, it was easy for me. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
like the effort was there and the planning was difficult. But once I got some on the phone, I was like known to be able to convert any phone call. Like, they'd meet with me, they didn't know why. Like, why are we meeting Renee? But now it's hard to get people on the phone. It's hard to get people's attention. And it becomes like super difficult. But I started the podcast. He's like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing the podcast? And I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not going to make money on this. Okay. I know the odds of going viral. I mean, all these people are coming to me. They want to like, of course, sell me their services to optimize the podcast. I feel like I don't believe anybody, to be honest with you, but I wanted to connect with people. Like, I just wanted to have conversations with people and talk about the platform and like, it's not really doing much, but all I wanted to do in the first couple months was release consistently every week. That's what I wanted to do, right? And I know Alex is leveraging it because he's inviting his lighthouse client and he's getting business from it, which I'll do eventually too. But you got to have a little bit of history before people just who don't know you will jump on.
Yeah. But to that point though, like, isn't that kind of Michael Jordan didn't win an NBA championship in his rookie season.
Right. Right.
It just takes
Right.
time. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody acts like this shit's gonna convert to whatever you want it to convert in 6 months, and it's like, nobody freaking does that.
Well,
Like,
it's
that's just not the way it works.
because these creators on LinkedIn lie about it.
There's a lot, yes, like,
They're
and
lying about it. I
I
mean,
think that's one of the beautiful things about Instagram is it tells you how many posts somebody has put up. They have 71,000 followers, but they've done 1,600 posts.
right.
And you're like, well, I can't understand why I've only got X amount of followers. Well, it's because you posted 41 times.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's a
knows who
lot
you
of
are
work.
yet.
I
It's a
started doing
lot of
some
work.
posting too, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, it's like a full-time job." I don't really have a team. I don't know if I will get a team. I need a team. But it's like a full-time job. I mean, with the videos, it's just
Yeah, Instagram's a beast. I really like Instagram, but
yeah.
LinkedIn, it is, yeah, it's an interesting platform that, it doesn't give you quite as much information, and people will get on there and they spew around a lot of numbers that I think are not always particularly real.
No, like, it just can't be. How are have you lost some traction in the videos as opposed to a year and a half ago? Or how does it look? I mean, a year and a half ago, I'd get, like, crazy but I'd get 800,000 impressions, 500,000 impressions, and
Yeah,
all
I
that
think
garbage.
everybody's impression count on LinkedIn, like,
And now
is
it's like,
is
"What?"
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you do I think, the thing for me is, like, while the impression numbers are less on LinkedIn, and we do significantly more now on Instagram and TikTok than we were doing a year and a half ago, like, The
Okay.
content's just better, the
What do you
message.
see as the better do you as you see any what about YouTube? You do anything with that?
I need to get really serious about YouTube. We've posted some vlogs. We've done a little bit of some long form on there. I'm gonna get very involved with YouTube over the next 6 months. Like we've
Okay.
got
You
some
have to keep me
plans.
posted on it.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
will. For sure. I love Instagram. It's such a hard platform to be good at because there's so many good creators on there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that shit. So I'm like, we gotta get better. We gotta get better. We gotta get better. Keep getting better. So like we're getting very intentional about a lot of things with the content that we put out. But at the end of the day, it's still just let's just go create value. But
Yeah.
you can if you can
Yeah.
hit more people to create more value for more people, then there you
Yeah.
go. So, like it still has
Yeah.
to be good content. But I still think on LinkedIn, like there's still just I just get a lot of DMs. Like it's always amazing to me. You know, the different platforms tend to bring kind of a different cohort of people. Like TikTok tends to be, I get a lot of dental students that reach out to me on that, and a lot of young dentists that reach out to me there.
That's good, right? It's good recruiting.
A ton, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of it is like, I watched your video on this, and I don't like. You were talking about contracts. I'm so scared about contracts. What do I do? Like, what does
Yeah.
my like? How do I? I don't even know how to find an attorney. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's start there. Let's jump on Zoom for 15 minutes. Let's talk.
Wow.
And,
That's
like, I
amazing.
love that stuff. So,
Yeah.
Instagram tends to be you get a mix, but there's a ton of dentists on there, a ton,
Interesting.
which I like,
So that's a
you know,
good
but
recruiting tool for you.
yeah, it is, and I don't really like, we'll use it a lot more, especially now that we're adding a lot more practices this year. Like,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
wanna get
really
into
start
this.
we're gonna we'll start targeting some cities through, like, Instagram ads and things like that
Okay.
for the recruitment side of things, but for the most part, it's
Interesting.
just all been organic.
Yeah.
It's just been let's find some like-minded people, let's create some value for those people.
Yeah, and one of the things that and one of the reasons I invited you and so I know you're such a busy guy, so thank you so much. I'm sure there's a million things that are on your to-do list every day, is that you talk about leadership a lot. You talk about culture, you talk about leadership, you talk about accountability, you talk about having the hard conversations. And, this is the hiring room. And so what we talk about in the hiring room are those things, right? Not just I call it the room because to me is the entrance into the company is hiring somebody, right? But if you're in the room, you're always talking about your people. And so, especially I think in this whole AI, well, at least we don't have to worry about AI taking a dentist job. I don't think I'd want a
Not
robot
yet.
in my mouth, to be honest with you. So
Not yet. Not
I'll
yet.
take Brad all day long.
Yeah,
Could you
I would too.
imagine? Stop, stop, and you're like you're getting hammered and your
I
teeth are
think,
gone.
I have no doubt that there's some people that are so much smarter than I am that someday Optimus Prime will probably be like, some version of that will be some robot and, doing the work, but I think we're a long way from that. So,
I
yeah.
just read an article yesterday, and I think Mark Cuban was talking about this, and this was really resonated with me. Was he was talking about how we know what's happening with AI. We know the chatter out there. We don't have to repeat it. You and I are both in the know on that stuff. But is that the biggest problem they're having on traction for adoption and traction in general is it can't the AI has no business context. And I think people don't understand that it can't really pivot without and so talk about how humans in the moment have and I mean, you're building a business, right? You're not and I say you're not just a dentist, don't talk, but you're not a solo dentist. So you're like I look at the dentist like an attorney or a doctor, like you have a technical skill that you're adding value to, but you're building a multi-site business. You're building I don't want to say a conglomerate, you're building a business. So it's a different skill set, completely different skill set, right?
Very different skill set.
But that was interesting. And so now they're looking at it as like, am I really getting the ROI for the cost of it?
Mhm.
So I feel like, and I'm kind of hope things are going to die down a little bit and things and they did admit finally, because the first thing I said when I heard like AWS Target, there was another big one. I think it was Intel did that big layoff. I'm like, and they blamed AI. I go, there's no way. There's absolutely, they're using it as an excuse to lay people off because there's no way they can have adoption. I've talked to too many people in that space, in the adoption space, and it's not.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be some smoke and mirrors at this point, but it sounds good, and
Yeah.
it's an easy way for them to lay off 10,000 people and save a lot on the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah, instead of just saying it, that they make an easy excuse. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. historically, PAs like myself, attorneys, and as it's usually a family, someone in your family was a dentist. It tends to be generational, you know? So how the heck did you get into the dental space as a dentist? And then we're going to move into what you're doing because as you know, I think I mentioned to you and then I'm happy to connect you with anybody you need is I help build the accounting and finance team for Elite Dental in Chicago. And I have a lot of little insight for you if you want to hear some of it. Some of the things that happened there that was a problem and maybe you know
It's
some
like
of
to
them.
hear that shit. You know,
Yeah,
it's
no, it's good, right? Because it's like you're gonna come across it, and I'd love to tell you a little bit about
yeah,
my and this is from people that were in the room. Like, this isn't just my
right.
observation. These are some of the things that were tackled, and it caused them and ultimately it caused them problems. But you're doing it very differently. This the way they went about it was, and I'll share it in a bit. But so tell me about how you got here. You know?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, the story of why I became a dentist, like there's not some crazy sexy story. Like my dad and my grandfather were both dentists, but
See, generational.
generational. So like
Yep.
third generation. But for me it was never, I've told 1,000 people, like I still had no idea what being a dentist was about. I mean, to me, I don't know that, even though like the reason I went into dentistry, like because my dad knew frickin' everybody when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Like the dude was a friggin' legend in our community and he built a phenomenal practice. And
Wow.
I was so enamored by that when everywhere we went, they're like, "Hey, Dan. Hey, Dr. Hughes. Hey, Dan. Hey, Dr. Hughes." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, you freaking know everybody." I'm like, "I want to go do that." But I didn't know what he did per se. I didn't realize the scale of it just being a people business. And so I've just had to learn that game, and the game being the authenticity that it takes, the charisma that it takes, the team building that it takes, all of that stuff. But I definitely have that entrepreneurial itch, and I knew that pretty early on. But to me, that comes around just I just want to help people create value. I want to influence as many people. I want to build amazing teams that can go see way more patients and have way more effect on those humans than what I can as just one individual.
Okay.
And I think the leadership structure in the dental space has become, quite honestly, the biggest voices in dentistry are very agenda driven. They tend to just be very promotional towards these mega DSOs, all the things. They've led us down this commoditization of dentistry that is not good for
Yes.
anybody. And
Yeah.
I look at like I think back to like what was dentistry like in 1986? I'm like, if my dad didn't lead a great practice, we didn't eat. And now
Right?
it's about he had to be a good leader. Now it's safety nets, all the things that just protect doctors with all these massive minimum daily rates and all this crap that doesn't help a patient. It doesn't help the providers get better. It doesn't help anybody in the space. We need to get back to just strong leadership, elite type practices, and that starts with the doctors.
What do you think your dad did? Like, now that you're, now that you're grown, right? Grown man, and you sit back, did you join his practice at all? Did you like intern with him? Okay.
I joined his practice in 2007. So I graduated from Indiana University School of Dentistry, go Hoosiers, 2007,
Of course.
and
Go Hoosiers.
undergrad and dental schools. Um, but when I joined his practice, like he had one foot out the door. I mean, he was 57. He'd done it for 30 years there. He'd built a great practice. He's like, he had done very well, but he's like, I know we've talked. I know you want to go take this thing to even the next level, and I know you will. He's like, but I'm not the one who's probably going to necessarily teach you to do that. You're gonna really do more and spread your wings when I'm not here. And so, we kicked ass together, and I saw how he treated people and did things for a couple years, and then he took off, and and he did, but I the biggest effect he had was just how he interacted with people. His people skills are phenomenal. Now his candor sucks, and I think
What do you
that
mean? Like, in what way?
he just sucks. He has no level of confrontation. He doesn't want to have hard conversations. He's just like that was the only thing that held him back from doing double what that practice was doing
With his people.
with his people, and he knew that, and but like
That's
whatever, but
funny.
that's the element that like if you can combine the people skills with the candor,
Yeah.
with the accountability,
Yeah.
with the standard, like man,
I
that
have a
like sky's
dentist,
the
that
limit.
I go to here, and he is I mean, he's phenomenal. His bedside manner is amazing. And he's a little bit older. He's probably in his 50s, so he probably doesn't care about growing it anymore, but he would be the guy that could really be he could have had some bigger impact if he would have spread his weight. Maybe he didn't want to, but he's the first dentist when I walked in that said and I just started going to him a couple years ago because I moved, and then I asked my girlfriend, "Who do you go?" He's like, "Oh, you gotta doctor" it's a long name, right? But um, he consults with you for you walk in the door, you not go to the chair. You walk in, you go to his office, he sits across from you, he has a conversation, and I never that's never happened. I had one really weird dentist one time. The guy was so weird. Oh my god, he was like, I don't know what he was so weird, and he'd talk to you and you'd be in the chair and he'd talk to you like this, like really like you need to back up a little bit. And he always reprimanded you. You didn't floss with you. And I was just like, you know what? I'm a grown adult. Do not reprimand me. I get it. I should floss better. I should do this better. But he'd be like in your face, like, Renee, your gums are bleeding too much. You really need to. And I'm like, I know. I know. I
Yeah.
get it.
It is so funny because, like,
You just don't want to
do
hear
do
that,
people think that patients don't know?
Of course we know.
Right, it's sort of like smoking.
Yeah.
Do you think patients don't know in a 2026 world, maybe you shouldn't smoke?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
They know.
Or
So maybe
drink or do
save
whatever
them
else
the
we do.
12-minute frickin' lecture
I know.
that makes you feel better as a provider, but provides no value for them because they know, and
It
they're only gonna
doesn't.
hear
It
from
turns
you.
you off. I mean, you
It
just like,
does.
I don't wanna
It
go
does.
there. I mean, it's already stressful for people, right? Like, it's stressful to go to a dentist for people, and then you just don't need to be reprimanded.
You don't need to be recommended. You
Yeah.
don't need
Don't
to
do
it's
that.
just like, "No, don't." I haven't talked to somebody about smoking cessation and, like, now we do oral cancer screenings, we do, like, my best buddy died at 39 of oral cancer, so, like, I'm very passionate
Did he
about that.
smoke or did he chew?
Neither.
Was it one of
Neither.
those weird things that he just
I mean, it was probably viral lead. I mean, HPV is a big instigator of oral cancer or stuff like that, and, sometimes something just kicks the
well, men don't
epigenetic.
even know men don't even know they have HPV.
Oh, no,
I
I know.
remember that when I was young, when they would do all that testing, and they were like, "Yeah,
Oh,
men
yeah.
don't even know they carry it."
No. And, it's like we do all this stuff, but, like, there's no reason to sit there and like, you don't floss. Well, no shit. Neither does 98% of everybody else. And, like, I don't need to sit here and waste my time talking to you about it. You're either gonna do it or not. And
Yeah.
frankly, it doesn't affect my life if you do or you don't. You should. I
Yeah.
might make a joke about it, like, I think the last time you flossed was probably when Stacy did it for you 6 months ago. So congratulations, you now got to do it again. So, like, you're welcome. Glad
I
you
do
came in
thought but
today.
I also what really helped was that, the toothbrush that vibrates? They were like, "What do you" and I said, "Well, I got that" what is it called? The
Like a Sonicare or an Oral-B or something
No,
or
no, no, it
a
wasn't even that. It was another brand that just vibrated. It wasn't anything that was, I forgot the name of it. It's kind of like a cool looking thing, Target has it. And I'm like, "Yeah, I switched to that brushing thing." They're like, "Oh, yeah, it made a huge improvement on your teeth." I was like, "Really? Just that little acetation?" They're like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, it was interesting. If I clean every 6 months, I'm in good shape.
it's not
If
freaking
I
rocket science,
Huh?
right? Like, it's not
No.
rocket science,
No, it's
right?
like
Like,
everything else in
I
life.
think we tend to
It's behavior.
overcomplicate this shit a little bit,
Yeah,
right? Like, everybody knows to brush and floss.
yeah,
Some do it, some don't. Those that don't, or those that mouth breathe and eat shit every day, have cavities.
yeah.
Like, it's pretty predictable. It's not.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're always employed with 99% of people not flossing, that's for damn sure.
Trust me.
Okay, before we go on, I
Yeah.
have to ask
All
you
right,
this, all right?
go. Hit me.
Will you tell me what's going on with root canals? Are you supposed to get root canals? Are root canals passé? I've been hearing this for a couple years. What's going on with root canals?
They're fine.
Should you do them or shouldn't you do them, or do you need to do them?
Yeah. Well, do you need, I mean, if you have an infected tooth, like, you should probably do a damn root canal. Now, do we have some patients? I mean, if the patient says, look, let me give you an example. Tooth 19, lower left first molar. Let's say it's, this would be so common, like some huge plastic tooth colored resin filling in there, like some big MOD filling, which
Yeah,
are crap especially in a molar, but dentists do thousands of them every day. You end up with a big cavity up underneath of it, and you've got pain in the tooth. You've got, infection in the tooth. So, by the time you would do the root canal, take out all the decay, do a crown prep, all the stuff, like, there's not going to be a lot left in that situation, let's say. So,
yeah,
if a patient values, let's say the patient's my age, the spry age of 45. let's
That is
say
spry,
that
Brad.
it's pretty spry. Yeah, it's not spry as it used to be, but it's pretty freaking
Oh, you're
spry.
not my age.
So, like, if the patient values longevity, then maybe the best option is take that tooth out and do an implant.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a process involved in that. They're going to take it out, even if they do immediate placement. And, like it's still going to be 3 to 4 months of healing. You're without a tooth for that amount of time, all the things. So for most people, just get the root canal done, slap a crown on it, and move on with life.
Okay. And
And
it's
then,
like pretty much like it's a permanent solution, except
well,
the
I mean,
crown you may have to replace.
yeah, you're probably going to replace the crown. I mean, it's and you may end up with a root fracture. I mean, root
I didn't
canals
mean for
tend to
this to
have
talk
root
about
fractures.
get your
No,
dental.
I think it's great because it's like these are the scenarios. But if you understand what the patient values above
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
it makes it an easy decision. If that
Yeah.
patient's like, I want the absolute thing that's going to last the longest, I'm
Get an
like,
implant.
just go have an implant done.
You
You're
know what
45.
happened with me? I
Like,
had, back molar, and the dentist my other dentist I used to go to downtown, I loved him too. He was like, "Well, back in the day," 'cause I'm 60, so back in the day, he said they made these big holes in your teeth. They had they that was the thing, like, you gotta get everything out, so you ended up with these big, huge cavities in your molars because that's what they thought they were doing back then. And so this one back molar is like, it's just, I mean, it's just like a mess. It's like, this thing is a mess. So we pulled it to get an implant. And then it's my far back one. And it was like, he sent me some big ortho surgeon downtown. It was like $5,000 to get this one tooth.
yeah, I mean, you're 6 to 7 thousand all in
And I
between
was like,
extraction, bone graft, implant, abutment.
what? So we start it, we pull it, do a bone graft, the whole thing. I was on such aggressive the penicillin antibiotics. It caused me all other kind of health like things because of it. And I never did it. I was like, and I never did. So it's my one in the back and I don't have it. And so my daughter's like, do you need it? And I'm
Like,
like,
you'll
I
you'll
didn't need
live.
it. And it didn't do
Yeah,
anything to my teeth. I was just sitting back there. So now I
nah.
have this kind
Yeah,
of, but it's the way back one. So it doesn't really
yeah.
matter. And nothing gets caught. Nothing gets happened. Nothing grew down. He's like, we just have to watch it. No issue. So I didn't do it. I was like, why am I going to go spend $6,000 on this damn thing?
Well, that's the other thing too. Like for some patients, there's like take it out because you know what? They just
Can't see it.
value. Yeah, like you're fine. Yeah, you don't have a damn second molar. Like you move on with life.
Yeah, I
Like it's
just
not like
moved on. I mean, if it was a different tooth, it'd be a whole different ballgame.
yeah, or if it was like your left foot,
That's a problem.
right? Like that
But they
changes
were
the
like, "You're not gonna have
the
long-term
game.
issues with it. Like, it's fine. You're gonna be
No,
okay." But it was a
but
big
it
process, and it was like that grafting
is a
I did and, like, that I mean, the penicillin, like, I think that well, I guess when you go into the bone, it could be really serious. So, I mean, it was like penicillin on steroids, and I had all kinds of issues from that. Anyway, I don't wanna talk about this the whole time. I wanna talk about your business. But anyway, thank you, Doctor Hughes, for giving my free dental advice. Sort of on TikTok, I'm asking you now about these things.
I can't wait till somebody tries to argue with me about that because that's just it's just the way it goes. But it's all good.
It's all good. All right, so the reason that you decided to buy some dental practices up, was because you wanted to affect more people. I love that. So you're kind of like your mission is, I only can help so many people by myself, but if I multiply myself, I can help more people. Okay, I love that. So how are you going about this? What do you like? Oh, I have so many questions from a business standpoint. How are you going after the space? How are you deciding what to go after? Your growth plan, your financing, like all this kind of stuff. Like, how are you going about this?
But shifted. I mean, I think I have a very different model now than I even did 2 years ago. I always reserve the right to change my mind, and I think as we learn, we should. And
Yeah.
I think too many people get stuck in the way that it has to be, right? Like this is my business plan. I'm sticking with this. Well, even every practice has a little bit of nuance, right? Like,
Well, very much so. That's what I learned
yeah,
when I went through that thing.
100. And I mean, you can't just say we have systems across the board. Like, yeah, but you don't have the same providers and the same team across the board. Like the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots play football. They play the same game, but they're not the same organizations. They're not the same teams. They are not like you've got to, or even like I'll give an example of like Bobby Knight, right? Like, talk Indiana basketball. He may have run a motion offense, but every season going into it, the personnel dictated how he was going to run that motion offense. If you have Isaiah Thomas in 1981, who's one of the greatest of all time, you're gonna just run up tempo and you're just gonna outscore people and but when you've got a Steve Alford in 1987, who's one of the best shooters of all time, you're gonna slow things down. You're gonna set more screens. So like that, like that's how each practice is what is your personnel, and then we're gonna develop around them. But
Sports analogy, team building sports analogy around team building because I use it a lot in recruiting because I don't feel like companies think like that. They don't
they
look at
don't.
their
I
team.
They're so damn rigid with everything. We have systems, same systems in every office. I'm like, "Well, then you suck," because it doesn't work that way. You know,
So how
it's
are you managing it? I mean, do you have like a number in mind that you want to get to or you're just
no.
no?
We're just gonna go as far and as hard as we can, and by that I mean, we're looking in very recruitable areas now. I love Indiana. I grew up there. Like I practiced there for 11 years. But the issue with Indiana is it's harder to recruit there. Like you're probably not going to get somebody from New Jersey to
It's
move.
farmland. It's a lot of farmland. I live close.
It's
I
just
live
tougher. And so that's why we're
Where
expanding
did you
like,
live? Where did you practice in Indiana? Where were you?
I was in Fort Wayne.
Oh, you're in Fort Wayne, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in, I lived a mile from Northwest Indiana. I mean, I lived a mile from the Munster
Yeah.
for
So
most of my life.
we have a practice in Crown Point. So
Oh, yeah,
we're
my
in
brother's in
that
Crown
area.
Point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like we can pull from Chicago there because it's close enough,
It's
but you got
still
to go
good.
where
Long
but
commute.
it's a big commute though. But you gotta go where people are.
Northwest
You gotta go where
Indiana,
people wanna
Northwest
go.
could be a place for you for sure.
Northwest, not bad. Northwest would be not bad, but
Yep.
we're now in Florida. Like, we're acquiring our 11th practice Friday in Tampa.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So, like, I'm going, like, where do people wanna live? Where do their spouses wanna live? What kinda lifestyle do a lot of these doctors who are 35 to 45 wanna have?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just changed now. It's just different than it was even 19 years ago when I started in practice. So,
Yeah.
we're just I'm looking for opportunities. So I'm looking for, if you wanna go the sports route, I'm looking for that 2 or 3-star practice that has good things about it that we can make that 5-star recruit. We can turn them into somebody by their junior or senior year who's just kicking ass. And so, we look for opportunities where, there's enough space, it's a good community. I like saturated areas because it means there's a shit ton of people, by the way,
It's always
and
easier
we
to
can
recruit and there's always
yeah,
more
it's always
customers.
yeah, and we
So
just beat
what
them
do
on
you
brand.
so what is if you're approaching a dental practice, right? What's the advantage to them? Why would they wanna come join you?
Well, it depends because I'm looking at it as, there's really 3 layers to what we're looking for. I'll go do a startup. In fact, we've got one in Orlando that we have a signed LOI that we will probably get
Mhm.
done in 60 days. I'll also go acquire a practice where the doctor only wants to stick around for 12 months. And that gives us time to go recruit another doctor who can then become a partner doctor. And I want partner doctors in this, by the way. Or we will still do rollover equity deals. We did one
Mm.
last year in Elkhart, Indiana with Dr. Randy Stoffer. Phenomenal dude. But the alignment has to be there perfectly. I only want to do rollover deals when I know that the alignment is beautiful
So
because I've screwed
rollover
that up.
deal is just
So they
define
retain
that.
equity, but, like, I own
You're just paying them
60% of
out.
that practice, but
They
Dr.
exit.
Stoffer retained 40% equity in the practice at close,
And the doctor stays,
and they stay. Yep,
and they retain some equity.
and they retain equity.
I think
Yep.
Elite Dental was doing a lot more 100% buyouts.
They were doing a lot more 100% buyouts. Yeah, and then you get into
One of
the
the problems
associate
they had was
model and
they had an M&A team that was incentivized to go buy all these practices up, right? So they incentivize you have to be careful what you do with the sales team. And people don't understand like the M&A sales team. Like you have to be careful how you right? And so they
yeah.
were just what they were doing is they were just doing deals and the deals were so different that it caused the accounting and finance headache to track it. Because you're buying a small business, it doesn't mean the records are that great. And so they were doing it based on like some of the uh, some of the deals were based on, like, accounts receivable collection, right? So they would pick a date of it and be like a 90-day, and then the doctor would get be paying on these, receivables that were coming in, but they couldn't track it. It was a nightmare. So they had all so you be careful. Yeah, so I think that they were doing any deal to get whatever the I don't wanna say whatever, but, did they wanna get the deal done, and so there was no conformity in the deals, and I think that was causing a lot of back end issues from an accounting standpoint, which maybe those guys weren't thinking about it perhaps. That was one of that was a ni and, once that rolls, it goes into a black hole, it's almost sometimes impossible to unwind.
You
It's
gotta be careful.
crazy.
Yeah, there are some things you need to be rigid about, and then there's some nuance to it. Like, you can, you know,
So you do have
yeah,
to
like
have some conformity with that with those
You do, and
contracts from what I saw.
100%.
Yeah,
And we're not, but I'm also not just buying to buy EBITDA to try to keep investors happy either,
and
because
that's what they were doing.
I'm
It was
funding it.
all yeah,
Yeah.
and then they
I'm not
flipped it.
private equity.
They did like
Yeah.
30 in like a short time frame, then they flipped it, and they flipped it again, and it was a mess because no one knew the sites.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
spent time at the site level. And
Yes.
so the people didn't buy into anything because they were just like, so they were gonna keep doing their thing and there was no conformity at all. There was no pulling together. It wasn't a culture at all. And so I saw that whole thing blow up and it was kind of ugly to see, to be honest with you.
It gets, and I've not been on the inside. I've chatted with enough who have been on the inside, like you, that it's like it just gets gnarly. And that's not, I know it's a slippery slope, that it's easy to go down that road. And I've made the mistake where, I've did a partnership deal that didn't work out because there was not full alignment there. And, you learn as you go, but that's the objective, isn't to just flip it and then flip it
Yeah.
again, flip it again. Like I don't have private equity backing, so I don't have investors that need to be happy. It's just me. I do have but I do have partner doctors they're the ones I get up for to fight every day, because they do put trust in me. I'm like, "I'm gonna go double the size of this company. I'm going to go build something investable." I mean, we will run out of runway at some point, and we'll have to bring on a strategic partner, but if we build something investable that's really good with good culture and makes sense, we'll have options on who that strategic partner
Well,
is.
I'm sure you're getting calls already.
I mean, we do, but, like,
Nothing yet makes sense.
I
Yeah.
not yeah, I'm nowhere like, I'm not there
Yeah. Oh,
yet. Like,
yeah.
we got a lot of runway in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the deals geez, I mean, we had 2 signed LOIs last week, and I killed 2 deals because I didn't like where they were going. So,
Yeah. So how are you
that's just
going
the way it
about
goes.
all this due diligence? Do you have a team? Do you outsource it?
Yeah. Yeah, we just have a team.
Do you have an
I've got
internal
a
team that's always sourcing for acquisitions, like an acquisition
Yeah.
team, doing all the
Yeah.
due diligence, doing the approach? Okay.
Yep.
How many
Yep.
people do you have
Yep.
doing that? That's expensive too to keep that.
It does get expensive.
Well, I know. I know the numbers of these guys.
It's, I'm involved in it too. So, like, I'm pretty cheap. I don't cost much of anything. We do have a business development role.
Yeah.
I have a controller, Desiree, Desiree will listen to this. She wears, I don't know, 172 different hats. She's done that she's been with us now for 5-ish years.
Nice. That's fantastic.
And so, so we get she does a lot of due diligence. We have an unbelievable CPA. We have an unbelievable attorney who, has been in the PE
Nice.
M&A space for a long time. And
Huge
now,
to have that
he's
trust. Huge.
huge. I
Yeah.
mean, he's so good. Those guys are
Yeah.
so good. And,
Oh, that's
you know,
fantastic.
they're able to spot bullshit real quick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so those are probably the key 4. And then myself, I get involved as well. I'm not just out doing deals to do deals. Like, we're being very
Right.
intentional
Yeah.
around finding deals that we feel like we can go grow and have great culture around and have incredibly high standards and are in recruitable areas and
Yeah.
all the things.
I think that's really smart because I see that with companies where they'll move to these locations and there's just no way to recruit people. I mean, you just can't get
You
the
you
talent.
you can't do it. You got to have talent. I
Yeah,
don't.
and you gotta go where the young people are at. I mean, even some of the places, even the city, as we know, the kids are waiting longer to get married, and so the kids are in the city longer, and they're in the city until they're sometimes in their early 30s. And Walgreens had a big, Walgreens has a, I wanna say what do I wanna say plantation? They have a big, campus up there, right? Up north, I think it's in Deerfield, and some of the other big ones had it, and they just couldn't get the kids up there, so they were making, like, micro offices in the city to get the kids. I mean, they're not gonna do the commute, they're not gonna do it. Well, I wouldn't do it either. You literally age in the car. Like, you waste life in the car when you're doing those kinds of crazy commutes. I mean, I'm
There's
I'm big on face to face, though. I think the people should be together. I mean, I think hybrid 3 days in is I think if you can't build your team 3 days in, there's probably something wrong if it's professionals.
Yeah. No, we try to get together as much as possible. Like, we've got a fairly, I don't know what the word, like, we've got, like, my marketing director, Lex, who's awesome. She's in Mississippi.
Oh, so you have a remote team.
Mikkel,
Yeah.
yeah, like, Jason, our lead, HR
Yeah,
guy,
I
is in
see Jason
Savannah,
on the videos.
Georgia. Yeah, Jason's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's down here with me. He's in Savannah. I'm in South Carolina, but everybody else is in Indiana. Well, I guess Craig, my business development's in Dallas. So,
Yeah.
we're kind of, but when we get together, it's fun because like that's like we're so focused when we do get together because we don't get to do it very often. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
we get a
fun.
lot done. Yeah, it's cool.
So is this all meeting your expectations? I mean, are you happy with this? Was this a good choice for you?
Yeah, like it's so fucking hard, but
Yeah.
it's like I get a it what's the best way to describe it? Like, I think when you're in the is it really like I really consider like a dentist. Like I think back to owning a practice and I'm like because people will talk about like you're an entrepreneur if you own a dental practice. Like you're a small business owner. You're not really an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs scale, right? The difference between now versus me in a single practice. I was happy then. I liked it, but I just felt like there was more for me to go do. And
Yeah.
and this was the thing where it's around standards and teams and I just want to help people. I want to push people. I want to create an environment where we're attracting as many like-minded people into this company because that's what gives me so much damn freaking energy. I love working with when I have a dental assistant from Elkhart, Indiana, blowing me up on LinkedIn who works in our office there about, "Oh, that post today was awesome." It's like there's such a
Mm,
it's so invigorating
it
and
feeds
so
you.
energy driving. It
Yeah,
feeds me.
it feeds your
But the
energy.
difference between small business owner and entrepreneur is for every one win, I have 4 losses. When you're a small business owner, I think that's flipped. And so you've got to be able to stomach that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the wins are probably they're less often. When you're a small business owner, you might have 3 wins for every 2 losses or 4 wins for every 2
I
losses.
never
I think
thought about it in that perspective. But you're right. You're right. I mean, the key to it is that I mean, a real business, and I had one, I don't have it any longer, but when I had one is it can operate when you're sleeping, right? Like, it's making money when you're not there. It's not dependent on you. If it's dependent on you for every moment of every day to bring revenue in, you are a sole proprietor. I'm a sole proprietor right now. And I miss having the business that operated without me. That's a whole story. We won't talk about that. Picking bad business partners, don't do it. So be very picky because it's almost worse than a marriage, to be honest with you, because you lose it's your
100%.
livelihoods, like, your livelihood's involved in it. It's very tangled, and the legal part of it is a disaster. I mean, it's terrible. It's like I said, it's worse than a marriage. But anyway, what were some of the biggest challenges that you didn't expect? Like,
That
anything that came at you that
that
you're like, "What?"
Well, I think that's one of them is that partnerships don't always work out.
Yeah.
Like you've got to actually know. Like we had a partnership deal and with some practices in Atlanta that I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but man, we are not on the same page. Like, we're gonna go really push and we're gonna drive this thing and we have standards and we need to uphold ourselves to those standards because we set the bar. We're the doctors in the practices, we are the leaders of this organization. We need to actually lead. I mean, that's what leaders freaking do, right? So, but he just wanted to go play golf. I mean, it was like, dude, and just kind of be a pain in the ass. And like, you're stressing my team out here to the point where they're like, we can't, there's nothing we can do. We don't want to do this with him anymore.
So
Like,
how do you
so
build the contract to exit that? Not easy.
you just have good attorneys that, you just got to know going into it. I mean, there's no perfect way to do it, but
Yeah.
you've
You
got to
gotta
know. I
have
mean,
the exit
contracts
built
should
into the
set,
you have to have
yeah,
the exit
you
built
got to
in,
know
yeah.
what it looks like
Yeah.
before you ever go into it,
Yeah,
So like,
that's what it says, you gotta have the exit while you're still talking when you're going
yeah,
into it, I know, I know.
that's
How do
the
you
whole
how
game.
are you vetting it? Because, people you have a you're dealing with a sophisticated group of people, right? I mean, they're smart people. They're you can't be a dummy to be a dentist. They may not
No,
be as astute in business, right? How are you vetting that in these interview processes? I mean, you're interviewing these guys essentially, right?
yeah,
People, I shouldn't
yeah.
say guys. I say guys sometimes as general, but how are you vetting it? And what do you feel like you're getting better at that?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is it still a guess a majority of the time? Hell yeah. And I think it's still a guess. And I don't care who says it's not, it is still a guess. Like you can have them take every personality test under the sun. You
I
can go
know.
meet 5 times. It's still a guess. I mean, look, 60% of marriages end in divorce,
I know.
and yet we're supposed to get it right when we're hiring people, right? Like it
Right. You
just
still got a
doesn't it's just
50-50 chance. I know.
you got a 50-50 chance.
I know.
So, but we are getting better, and I think we're just getting better What the things that surprising, I wanna because I wanna get this part into, and then I'm gonna answer your question.
Yeah.
The complacency that exists in dentistry is very surprising to me.
In what way? Like, in what way?
There's a lot of doctors that are just very complacent with where they're at. There's a lot of doctors that don't wanna grow their practice. There's a lot of doctors that don't want to get better. They don't wanna have teams that get better. They allow their teams to just the moment you become complacent, you start going that other direction.
Oh, yeah.
And then they lose a team member or 2 and like, "I don't get why." Well,
Yeah.
because they want better. They want more.
Yeah.
They wanna grow. They don't want this same so there's a lot of complacency, and then they become commoditized, and their practice is not doing well, and they can't figure it out. So,
Mm.
I think we've just gotten louder about who we are and what we want and what the standard is, and that attracts people that, I think it helps with retention. It also tells the people that shouldn't be applying with us anyways. So it kind of helps us initially weed out a lot of people that maybe could have sounded good through the interviewing process, could have sounded good early on through the onboarding process, but really didn't align. But they'll say that they do, because people they can kind of manipulate that a little
Of
bit.
course. So, basically, what you're saying is the condition of the practice kinda tells you a story to some extent.
I can look at I can look at a P&L and know exactly what's going on in that practice. Without even having ever met the doctor, the team member, the location,
Mhm.
everything about it. You give me
Mhm.
the numbers.
Mhm.
You give me the phone conversion rate on new patients. You give me the number of new patients they're seeing. You give me there's
Yeah.
zero question. I can tell you exactly what's going
And
on
that will be traced back to the behavior of the leader in the organization, and that will give you
every
the
time.
clue. Okay. Well, that's interesting, right? So that's good because those are data points. So no matter what they're saying to you, their data points are telling you, like, otherwise. Yeah. Is there is there an ICP you're looking for, like an age, a demographic, years of how long the practice has been going on, anything like that?
No, if it like the majority of what we're looking for at this point is a lot of the practices that we're getting into that I really like are the doctors that are really only gonna stick around for, like, 12 months.
Oh,
And then we're gonna go bring in another doctor, and, that doctor, I just want coachability and hunger. Anybody can get
so
better
you
at
kinda
dentistry,
like to
anybody.
exit the big dog.
I
Well,
want
I
yeah,
mean, it's
we kinda
easier.
wanna
I mean,
we kinda want them to sort of get to do their thing while we go recruit, and now we're gonna bring somebody in, and now that person needs to become a partner in the practice.
yeah,
Now they've got skin in the game, we can
yeah,
build around
yeah,
them. They're
yeah.
gonna go build net worth inside the company, inside the practice, all the things, and there's no real perfect avatar for that other than just, I want hungry doctors. I don't
Yeah,
want doctors that are just complacent with where they're at. I
yeah.
don't want doctors that, have it all figured out. Because I know I don't, and I've done it for 19 years, so I know you don't either. But just give me some hungry people and who want to be partners, and I think sky's the limit.
What are the graduating rates with tennis these days?
Graduating rates?
Yeah, I mean, is there people going into it? Are they up? Are they down? Are they
The number no, I don't know. It's a great question. I have no idea. I know that I don't know. I don't know if they're still
do you guys try to do you try to recruit direct from schools, or you're looking for a couple years
I would be
experience?
open to that.
Yeah.
I don't it's not my direct model to, like, recruit. It's a lot of work
Yeah, to mentor and
to
develop
take
them.
a new grad. Now, when I do, I bring them to me for a month. They spend a month in my practice, even though I'm not there, like Dr. Migliozzi's there, but like a month, and I'm going to be there a lot with them.
Yeah.
So, there are certainly doctors. I mean, meeting a lot of the dental students at Indiana University, I could think of a good handful where I'd be like, they would fit in well, they would kick ass. These guys would have men
Mhm.
and women, but would
Sure.
have phenomenal careers inside this company. But majority of them, like, production over potential. So like 5 to 7 years out, probably worked for some mega
Yeah, you're looking
DSO.
for the sweet spot like
Real
everybody is. Yeah.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, "We've hit our head on the ceiling." They're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to continue to work for these guys, but I do wanna do it. I want ownership, but maybe I don't wanna spend all my Fridays and Tuesday nights recruiting and Sundays on Zoom trying to bring in an assistant or, all of the stuff that
So are you
comes with
guys
that.
centralizing some of the are you centralizing hiring? Like, are you doing some kind of a shared service model as well? You are. Are you doing accounting, finance, HR, legal, okay. The same model that I would imagine it to be, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to do it for efficiency, and you probably have to do it, I just from a culture standpoint.
Because those are the things that have to be the same
Yeah,
practice to
I
practice, right?
agree.
Like, yeah,
I
like
see
the
that, and it
financial reporting has to be there, the hiring needs to be similar, like, those things need to be the same, but, the nuance around some operational things, the nuance around, some of the expectations are gonna be a little bit different, but
well, you
there
have
are some
and you
non-negotiables.
have to, like, change with the parts of the country. People are just different in different parts of the country. Like, you don't think they are, but they are. Things are
They
done
are.
things are done differently in different parts of the country. I mean, I would
Mhm.
imagine, 'cause
100%.
there's different culture in the South as there is in Chicago, as there is in California, as there is in New York, and, all that kinda stuff, so you have to kinda figure that out. So, when people describe you at your best, what do you hope they say about you?
Incredibly hungry, incredibly competitive, and creates a shit ton of value.
Yeah. When you talk about so you were a big sports did you play sports?
Yeah, I mean, look, like, I'm, like, 5'10" and I weigh 151 pounds, like, I wasn't going
Your
anywhere,
husband
but
size his whole most of his life.
yeah, like, sports is, like, my life, like, sports besides my wife and my kids, like, sports is, like, 1C, and,
That's so funny.
I've
Where
played
does
golf
that
since I was
competitiveness
5.
come? Where did w
I'm hyper competitive in
have
everything,
you always
and
been like that? Was there, like
everything,
do you
always,
remember that
always,
as a
always, always.
kid, like, a moment where you
Oh my
just,
god.
like, you always had to win?
Every memory I have as a kid is me having to win, so, like, it's
Yeah, when
every
you
memory.
talk to people that are like that, because 'cause I'm pretty competitive too, I think that I've mellowed in my old age. When I was your age, oh my god, I was a nightmare, like, I so when
Right,
you talk about people who are really competitive, they'll say, not so much that you have to win, that they right? They just don't like to lose. Like,
exactly.
I
I
just
don't yeah, and for me, it's not even just, like, beating people, it's just, like,
no,
I
it's
wanna do it for
internal.
me, right?
It's an
Yeah, it's just, like,
internal measurement.
it's just an internal
It
thing,
really
and
is.
and man, it's like it's just being the best version, it's just growing as far as you can and building as big as you can and doing the things, but if you see what that does with for people around you, it
Yeah,
elevates them up, and it
yeah.
makes them better, and it builds things for them, and it, like, that becomes addictive.
Do you know where
I
that
can rem
drive comes from? Like, can you
I have no
trace that
idea.
drive back? I
I have
think
no idea.
people I mean, what about with your kids? You see it with your kids at all?
Yeah, I have one of my daughters, and they're twins, so, like, they're not fraternal, so they're not identical, they're fraternal, but
So you got one of each, a boy and a girl, that's nice.
I've got 2 girls.
You got 2 girls. Okay,
2 girls, but
okay.
one of them is, like, very needs to win in everything, and I'm not gonna poo-poo that, like, you feel like you need to win in everything, great, go do it, I want competitive kids because I think we dumb that down way too much in today's
I
society,
mean, you're
and
talking to an '80s girl, right? So to me, when someone says everyone needs a trophy, I'm like, "What are they talking about?" Oh my
no,
gosh. Do you
winners
know
need goddamn trophies.
that, Italian, comedian, I'm gonna screw up his name. Is it Maniscalco? What's his name? Ashton Maniscalco, I think his name is. Oh,
I
look
don't
him
know.
up, he's all over the place, he's hilarious. He actually had a TV show too, but he's from Chicago, he's Italian, he kinda goes this whole Italian thing, but he did this he's on Instagram a lot, so he did this whole thing where oh my god, wait till you're gonna die.
I'll look 'em up.
So he's doing this thing like, "Hey, I'm at the game. I'm at this game." He's got like he's a little older to have little kids. I think he's in his, I don't know, late 40s and he's got like a 5-year-old or something, a little bit older. He goes, "So I'm at the game. I'm at the basketball game and we're getting killed. Like, the kids are just like they're getting killed and they can't get a basket. The other team is just smearing them and everything." He goes, and I was like, "God, these kids are really screwing up. Like, what the hell?" He goes, and I look up and the score changed. And he goes, and the score is the same. And I was like, and he's Italian. He's like, "What? Like, what's going on?" Like, and he's like, "What?" Like, he's like, What do you mean? Like, the score's a score." And like, yeah, well, the kids were getting upset, and so they changed the freaking score, and he was like freaking out. He was like, "What are you doing?" I mean, the disservice. Because when they get into business, they're gonna get slaughtered. I mean, it's
Slaughtered.
brutal out there. I don't care what people say. Simmering underneath this cordiality, what cordial that we have, right?
Yeah.
Underneath it, it's dog eat dog, man. It is,
Mhm.
and it's not changed. And if people think we just cover it, we package it a little bit nicer. Maybe we don't say things maybe we should in public like we did back in the day. All those kind of things, but it's there.
It's there.
It's
But it
there. And they're
makes
doing
everybody
such a
feel
disservice
good.
to the kids.
it's a frickin' disservice, and but it makes everybody feel better when you say we're all in this together,
I
right?
just
It makes
don't
everybody feel
understand the
better.
life lessons. It's
No,
hurting them.
yeah, it does. It does. I mean, the reality is like, let's just be like, everything's a competition. School competition, sports competition, like dating is a competition.
Opposition.
Everything is a freaking
It
competition.
is.
So you wonder why these like getting like who's got the coolest job when they're 16? It's a freaking competition. Like, I don't know, like it's just a competition and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's not. There's not anything wrong. And you learn lessons from losing.
Yeah.
You learn
Yeah.
all kinds of life lessons of learning of losing, right? Like and I don't understand why they're doing it because we're certainly not doing it in the Olympics. We certainly don't do it in professional sports. We certainly don't do it in business. We don't do it anywhere else. So
Mm-mm.
what is this generation doing with that? And it's sort of your generation, maybe a little bit
Yeah. It
younger, but you
100%
see it
my
with
generation.
how old are your kids?
Six and a
So they're
half.
little.
Yeah, but they know they're
They're small. They're
like
small.
Magnolia, she gets ticked, man. They lose a soccer game. She's like,
Yeah.
should have won that game. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
should have won that game, girl. Like, but
Yeah. Are you
here's
seeing
what
that
you
at
did
all out
well.
there? Are you seeing this kind of softness with this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like in
I think he's,
Maxwell's
like, in
basketball
California. I
league,
think he's living in California, so
yeah,
you
which
know
I mean that's a whole nother beast. I
yeah,
mean, let's
that's a
be
whole
honest.
other
It's like a whole nother beast.
it's like
You
another
know,
country.
I do just, like friends who have kids that do stuff. And I actually like with my girls, like in the basketball league, but this was like a 5 and 6 year old basketball league. They didn't keep score. Like maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
Well, I
I
mean,
still
okay,
wish
so
that
not keeping a score is better than fudging the score.
I would rather not keep score, but still like
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe know the outcome of the game. I mean, everybody knew, we'd get done and be
Yeah,
like, yeah, we lost like 9-3 basket. It's like,
like, everybody knew. Who are you fooling?
yeah. Yeah, everybody knew. We're like keeping, like she had 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. You're like, we're all sitting there keeping track.
That's
But
so funny.
I think it hurts the winners of those games more than it even does the losers. Because what does it tell the winners?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're just going to allow the losers in every aspect of your life to just come back up to your level, which is what we do. That's why safety nets are shit. It's why
Yeah,
it demotivates people. It makes them complacent. It tries to make everybody equal.
I
And we're
know.
like, doesn't work
No,
that way in
and
life.
human nature is not built like that.
It's not built that way.
That's not how human nature is. I mean, look at what happened. I thought one of the greatest human experiments that I have ever observed, horrible one, was when the riots were happening. And do you remember? Was it out northwest? Maybe it was the northwest of the country. Maybe it was Oregon or someplace out there, where people took over like a couple streets, and how a social organization developed rapidly in a couple weeks. Yeah, it was one of the real liberal states where people weren't police let them do whatever they wanted. And what happened? The people who had the physical strength or the weapons were on top. So the people that dominated were like, a pack of wolves, and the wolf who was the physical strongest or in this case had the weapons were the
Mm,
leaders, were the leader. They were the gang leaders. And that happened within weeks. So that is how humans are. Like, if you let the rawness of humans do this, this is what will happen. There will be top dogs, there will be the elite, there will be the
mm,
bottom dogs. And in that case, it ended up being physical strength or
yeah.
leveraging weapons at that point. It wasn't intelligence necessarily, but that's what you'll see. And so I think you're just doing a service to the kids of like, this is how things are. Like, life isn't easy. Life is really hard. People can really suck. You're not going to like your boss. You may not like your teacher. I remember I have 3 sons. And so I remember one of my sons always wanted to be liked. He was like a pleaser. And this one teacher just didn't like him. He was like 8, and I could see the interaction. I'd be like home, like I went to like one of the whole, like, whatever, you're a home mom or whatever, classroom mom. And I could see that he irritated her. Like, I could see him trying to get her approval, and I could see that she was irritated by him. I don't know what, she didn't like or whatever. And so he wanted to be transferred. I said, no, I'm not transferring you out of the class. He's like, well, like, I go, you had to learn to deal with it. I go, first off, just quit trying to please her. Like, leave her alone. For some reason, she doesn't like you. I don't know why. It's okay. You're going to meet people in life that aren't going to like you. And you're not going to like people in life too. But you have to learn to deal with them. So quit trying to please this woman. Quit trying to talk to her. Quit trying to get her to like you. Just sit in the back of the classroom, do your stuff, and get out. And I was very old school like that with stuff. Like, I'm not going to save you, but you have to understand that this is the human dynamics of people, and you've got to learn to be able to, I don't wanna say manipulate the situation, but you have to be able to understand how to maneuver through them, right?
You do. We've kind of lost that as a civil society, right? Like, it's just
I never would go fight for my kids at school. I always said, "You guys," and there was 3 of them, so they should be able to kinda handle it themselves, but I was just like, it's like the Lord of the Flies. Kids, if you watch kids and how brutal they are to each other,
it's tough. I mean, hell, like, my girls,
girls are the
we
worst.
were in the oh my god, we were in the airport,
Socially,
what
it's
was it?
tough.
Tuesday night, um s they're like, I got the bags, they, like, were coming out of the bathroom, and they were fighting about something that happened in the bathroom, and, like, they were just going at each other. One grabs the other one by the hair, rips her to the ground, the other one grabs the other one by the hair in the middle of the freaking airport down by baggage claim. I'm like, "Do what you're gonna do." I'm like, "Winner take all here, but I'm headed to the car, so when you guys are done, follow me out of the doors," you know? So, like, just fight, like, learn to do this, like, I'm not just gonna break this up, and, like, these other people are like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Let them do their thing."
Yeah.
Let 'em do their thing, like, not because it needs to be some, duke it out dog cage match, but, like, they're 6 and a half, like, whoever started this needs to learn, don't do it next time. Like, no matter how many times dad or mom says, "Don't fight," they're gonna fight until somebody learns that
There's things they
they need
just
to not.
have to work out. They just have
Yeah,
to learn to work it out, whether it's in school or, I mean, I'm not saying, like, if it's a kid being picked on by a teacher, I'm not talking about that kind of a
sure.
thing. I'm not talking about, like, an adult pitted against my child. That's, to me, no, I'll be in
Different.
there f
Yeah, yeah.
right. But when it comes to kids, I mean, you just kinda have to, they but I think that we just can't coddle them.
You can't because it creates adults that act the same way, and then they just perpetuate that cycle with their kids and then with their kids, and it's like, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it just like, boys are gonna be boys and girls are gonna be girls, like,
Yeah.
that, and they're all kids, and sometimes they do dumb stuff and they need to learn, and sometimes they just need to fight. I don't care if they're boys or girls, and they need to be able to hold their own, though, because to your
They
point,
do?
when they're 18 and they head off to college or they go into a job or they go, like, it's a different beast. And you've got these kids that, like, there's too many 28-year-olds living with mom and dad in their damn basement and then blaming mom or dad because they want to cut off their allowance,
They take
it's
no
like,
accountability. I
no, you're
mean, but you
freaking
hear it
28
with
years
these, is
old.
it Gen Z now? You hear it with them about, they complain about, "Oh, the housing market is like when you guys had it," and they complain about all these conditions. So I've already kept you an hour and 10. I knew I could talk to you for 2 hours. Parting words here, I just wanna talk a little bit about your leadership philosophy because it's working, and I think people need to hear it, and that's one of the reasons I love about this platform, if I can get a little bit more exposure. Tell me a little bit about your, because you talk about it a lot. You talk about your tough conversations, you talk about your leadership, you talk about, and you and I are tend to be like-minded, like, you and I think alike, so of course I'm gonna kind of agree with you. It's always great to have a guest on that you agree with, but if I had someone who said everyone should get a trophy, I'd probably have a problem with it, but no, I would listen. I would listen. So tell me a little bit about that before I let you go.
To me, it's very simple. I mean, the standard is the standard. The standard is the standard. Set the damn standard high and then hold yourself and hold your team to that standard. And have hard I mean, you kinda hit the nail on the head, like, it seems simple to sort of do that because there's, like, a whole process that has to happen,
Yeah,
like, you gotta kinda know what the standard is, and you've just gotta set the standard as high as you can, and then you've gotta be the one, and in my case, me, I am the top of the org chart, right? And I don't care where you're at on the damn org chart, but if you wanna be a leader, you've gotta put in more work than everybody else. There is no,
I
like,
agree.
I'm not
There's
just
no
here to, like,
shortcut.
my leadership style is not like I just show up every day and say, "What can I do for you to help you achieve your goals?" That ain't gonna get shit done. Oh, like, that is not how the game works,
Do you do like
And
one-on-ones? Do you have like a process? Like what, how
yeah,
do you keep on
we
top
do
of
a
it?
lot. Yeah. I mean, we just communicate. I tell people all the time, if I haven't told you to back off the communication, you're not over communicating with
That's
me
how I always
yet.
was. I'm a little bit of an over communicator. Yeah.
And you have to. And
Yeah.
then if it's like, "Hey, okay, we're now over communicate. Okay, now we can back it down.
Yeah.
Like, you're good. You're now here. Let's back it down." I do. I've got daily meetings with my management team. I've got
Okay.
a pretty good cadence in the practices. I'm traveling to the practices. I'm running team meetings in the practices, usually an hour at a time. I'll go up to Indiana next week. I'll run 2 different team meetings. I'll be in 3 practices, but I'm just consistently meeting with
How are
people,
you vetting it
and
out? Like, how are you pulling it out? Like, how do you know there's an issue? How are you pulling it out or vetting it out? And then I would imagine your style is like you nip it in the bud right when it, like, Boom. I was
Yeah,
always big on, like, nipping it.
it's gotta be now.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't wait.
No, because then you're just reinforcing that you're, tolerating it when you wait.
Yeah, and everybody sees that, and then they
Yeah,
just wanna shit all over you. You
yeah.
know, it's how do I know there's a problem? I mean, like, there's either a problem with data, and I'm seeing that, and it's like, why
Okay.
is that why is there an issue here when there hasn't been that issue for 4 months? Something happened. Now my regional manager, Jenna, or my director of operations, Mikkel, I'm having a conversation, go, "What the hell happened this week?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, so and so didn't come in for 3 days because of X, Y, or Z." You're like, "Well, okay, well, we need to figure that out." Like, they weren't sick, but they had like, let's just get to the root of the problem. Or
So
Dr. So and so is having a little bit of an issue.
your
It's
data is
painting the
telling your
picture.
story first. You're looking at some
Yeah.
trending. You understand the business because 'cause you're a dentist, right? There's a big thing.
I've done all of it at scale. Yes. I've done it and I've done it and I've
So
lived
then
it. So I
there's something there, and then you start digging.
yep. I start digging. If case accept, if I've got a doctor who's like giving a regional manager a little bit of pushback. So, well, you know, it just you don't understand. We've just blah blah blah. But your case acceptance was 47% for that month. It's like, well, we need to have a conversation, or for even just that week when that's not the norm. It's like, well, something happened that week that you just weren't very good. So let's freaking talk about this. Let's get better at this. Let's take accountability of this. Let's be self aware around this and go, why did your patients not really, why were they not saying yes? What part of your ability to be influential was last week or last month or whatever? And let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, I think it's fantastic. When I was in the heat of business years ago, so I exited a practice in 2015. I was one of the main partners. We had 25 recruiters. We had 3 divisions. But, what I would see is I used to always say there was like a leadership epidemic in corporate America where no one held people accountable. I would see it constantly because in recruiting, when you have a relationship with the companies, they share stuff with you, right? Your CFOs, they tell you stuff what's happening, or as you've got because I was a business owner myself, and I manage salespeople are really hard to manage. Recruiters are they're hard people to manage, right? Like they lie about stuff. I had a guy that was fudging data in my CRM, and I was like, "Wow." He'd rather tell instead of telling me he couldn't make the standards, he just fudged it, which I ended up figuring out anyway. But it was like there definitely is, especially in accounting and finance, because those people tend not to they move they move away from personal stuff anyway. They'd rather be they're analytical. They'd rather be stuck in a room, probably dentists too, maybe, I don't know, but they'd rather be stuck in a room doing numbers than to have tough conversations. Companies don't teach it. Like, they don't teach it. So let me ask you this. When you have a good person, are you, like, doing any training or leadership and development stuff? Do you get them a coach? Like, is it falling on you? Is there anything that you're doing from that standpoint? And do you think it's helpful?
It's mostly me.
Yeah.
I don't think I think we're still small enough
Or you
and
don't have
nimble
to.
enough and all the things that I think, and I have the bandwidth to do it and I like doing it.
Yeah. That's
But they get
huge.
a lot. It's huge, and they get a lot from Mikkel, my director of operations, who's been with me for 13
Oh,
years. They get a lot
amazing.
from
Yeah.
Jenna, who's our regional manager in Indiana. She was a practice manager in a practice that we started 3.5 years ago, and she's moved up to a regional. So they get a lot from them. I mean, so they get a little bit of a multi-layer approach from different people
Got it.
in the organization, but those folks really align with my mindset. Like, we're not, like, not everybody's for us and we're not for everybody. I think there's a lot of doctors that have a lot of ego that don't want that feedback.
Oh, I'm
There's a
sure.
lot of hygienists that don't want feedback. They're all about the patient, but they don't want to track performance. So, like,
Right.
like, that doesn't quite jive. So they hear it a lot. They get it a lot. So they get a lot of information and a lot of touch points locally from Jenna and Mikkel, and then they're getting it from me as well too.
Got it. So it's working.
Yeah, I mean, we need to just I think we need to continue to ramp it up even more. I think our team members need to get more content from me. I think our team members
Mm,
need to probably have I think our doctors need to get a little bit more from me,
okay.
a little better cadence, a little stronger cadence. But then that leadership needs to come from them. Like, the practice level, the leadership cannot be me. It's got to be the doctor, or that's not going to be a practice that does very well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's gotta roll down there. There's no because they're running a mini business there, and they're there every
Yep,
day. They're the only ones that can I will tell you, if my dentist had a better follow-up system, I think I would be in there more.
it matters.
It matters a lot. If you're talking about like driving revenue, if I cancel an appointment, they never harass me to come back in. Or if I haven't had a cleaning that I should be in, if they bothered me a little bit more, I would, if they made it easier for me, even if they text me, it's like, Renee, 6 months, where are ya? And they put that link, I'd be like, oh God, they're right. Cause I like them. It's not like I'm trying to avoid them. It's just kind of out of sight, out of mind I want to deal with. But I think if that
Yeah,
follow-up, I think that follow-up is big. And I haven't seen that in the medical industry sort of in general, to be honest with you.
not at scale. Like we send text messages, we send emails, we do some different things, but on the reactivation side of things. But for some reason in the health, like a lot of dentists are very weird about that. They're like, well, we educated them the last time they were in. Like if they want to come back, they'll come back. It's like, no, people are freaking busy. Like they have lives outside
No,
of their
no. And I
in their
also think
office.
like you're doing a disservice to them if you don't, because
Yes. Your job is to get butts in the chair and to see them and to do a good job and to build relationships. Your job is not to just
and
just
so
clean
no,
teeth or
and
just
also so
do
their teeth are
flowing.
taken care of, right? I mean, because time just goes, and then what happens? You avoid going because you're like, oh God, I haven't been there in a year, right? So then you have that whole behavioral thing that's sort of happening, which again, don't scold people, please. And then because it's not going to help your practice if you scold people. But I think if they bothered me more, I mean, that's just my personality. If you bugged me more, I'd be like, okay, Renee,
Some
like you really need to go. I don't know.
some people love that, some people don't, but
Yeah,
the ones that don't,
that's the other
like
thing
but
too.
it's way more of them that do. Like patients will come in like, "Oh my god, like we have a little bit of an issue getting patients into my office here in South Carolina. So we've opened up some Fridays, which I'm doing because otherwise it's like 6 months for patients to get in. And so, but I saw a bunch of patients on Friday. They were like, well, I saw two that specifically said this. They're like, to your point, they're like, man, I'm really glad you guys sent me that text message. I didn't realize it had been like one of them was like, we went away for a month last summer,
It's
had to
weird.
move my appointment, like had to
Yeah,
move it, but never called you guys back.
yeah.
I'm almost a year late,
I know.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's why
Well,
we
I
send
have
the
a lot
text.
of, like, allergies and, like, phlegm, and so sometimes and I was just getting off this and so I end up canceling because I don't feel like I can, like, leave my
Life.
mouth open, and so, like, I'm not feeling good, so then I'll cancel it, and then I just don't call as
It's
interesting.
life.
Is
It's
there
called being a
anything you
human
wanted to
being.
say in parting? Any, like, words of wisdom or anything that you wanted to put out to the world and anything?
That's so much wisdom. I don't know, we've hit on a lot of good things. I think it's the two things I think that, anyone in the dental space, it's like you don't have to be a commodity. Like you need to focus on brand. Brand wins over everything. And I think two, when we talk about leadership, we need strong leaders. Like we have not been led down a very good path in the dental space by the major players and the
Mm.
loud voices. We need very strong leaders at the practice level. So just keep getting better at that. Keep focusing on that, and I think you can have a phenomenal practice. So no matter who's right next door, no matter how many DSOs are around you, like you can kick their ass very easily. So
Yeah, sometimes I feel like they're you know, the tallest man in the midget parade with those guys. I would never go to a DSO, I don't think.
nah, it's
I just
there's certainly
I
good and bad, but they're not like just there's too many dentists that are afraid of them. So like just build brand, get out there, compete,
yeah,
and let's go.
that's awesome.
That's my parting
So how
wisdom.
do
Like go
people
freaking
find you? So tell us, like, how do we find your locations? How do they find you? Like, what's maybe we can plug that a little
yeah,
bit.
on our website visiondentalpartners.com, you can see where we have practices. I'm on every platform. Just Google me. I think my picture is the same on every platform. Interestingly enough, so LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok.
He's out there. If you got any questions.
I'm out there. Find me, DM me. I love the DMs. Like I get a lot every day. Sometimes I get a
I
little
don't know
behind,
how
so I
you're managing all
apologize.
this. I don't know how you're managing all this. You must be
Um,
working a lot.
that's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
It's your
Good times.
passions. All right. So Dr. Brad Hughes, thank you so much on the hiring room. That was awesome. I really appreciate you. And I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Chat. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining me in the hiring room. If you like the podcast, please subscribe below and share this episode with someone you think that would benefit from it. We're always looking for good people to interview. So if you have a referral, comment below, or you can email me at renee@mseedinc.com. Thanks. Till next time.